I always like to refer to Donald Trump. What did he call Mexicans? Rapists, drug dealers, and murderers, right? But yet, if we study the history of the European conquest, we'll say that the European conquest, because they don't like to hear their history in other fashions. They raped, robbed, and murdered the Native American. They raped, robbed, and murdered the indigenous Hispanics. They raped, robbed, and murdered the African American, the West Indian, the Haitian. They murdered, raped, robbed, and murdered all these people.
Right.
Hey, but then they got the audacity to say that we're the rapists, the robbers, the murderers. When every time I look on a street corner, it's 99% of the time black or Hispanics hustling.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's black or Hispanics trying to make ends meet. It's those people. Give me give me.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached into heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even if she has rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. If the cup which she filled to her double.
Well, we out here. What is it? As I was informed, I'm not a big sports fan. It's Super Bowl weekend, correct? Next week? I thought it was tomorrow.
Next week.
It's next week? Oh, man. In any case, that's what everybody's worried about, right? Nobody's worried about the chief thing, which is keeping the commandments. You got that in Baruch for me, Go ahead.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 9. Read. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life.
See, here, oh black, Hispanic, and Native American, the commandments of life. You'll probably be at church again tomorrow talking about the pastor going to tell you don't have to keep the commandments. Some Israelites are crazy. That's why they ain't got a building and they're on the corner, right? But we're actually coming up out the Bible. Go ahead.
Give ear to understand wisdom. 10. How happeneth it?
He said, give ear, Salakia. Give ear to hear wisdom, right? To understand it. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 4, start at verse 5. Because we got to understand what our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is the so-called black, Hispanic, and natives. We got to know what it is that we need to do. Interesting thing, like I was telling the brothers earlier, the officer in the soldier first class is, I ran into a pastor yesterday, right? Pastor was talking about, he's a licensed pastor. I'm telling you, he used the words licensed pastor, I was like, okay, where'd you get your license from? A white man. You know what I'm saying? That's going to teach you that salvation is for everybody, and you ain't got to keep the commandments. But read that in Baruch real fast again, Salaki, King. And then we're going to get into what our wisdom is. Because we got to understand something, black, Hispanic, and native. I talk to you specifically because you're the chosen seed.
That's right.
You're who the Most High God sent Christ for. Read that.
That's right.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 9. Read. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life.
It says, hear, Israel, the commandments of life. We got to understand something. This is about life. It's not about what I am till I die, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Is that really necessary? Like, you could have let the jet go by. That's the problem. See, we're so hated that we don't even see the small things they do to us.
Right.
Like leaving our brother in the middle of the street while you rev your injured pastor. But why is that? Read that again.
Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
See, give ear to understand wisdom. Now we gotta touch on what wisdom is according to the Bible. Give me that Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
See, so Baruch was talking about the commandments of life and to give ear to understand wisdom. Moses is telling you, gave you commandments, correct?
Even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go, to possess it.
So everywhere we go, we are to keep these commandments. Native American man, so-called Mexican and Central South American of indigenous descent, when you came to this land, you were to keep the commandments. Give me 2nd Ezra real fast. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 40. And we're going to prove that because we had a sole mission. When Moses told us we were going into Israel, he said, you have to keep these commandments. When we left the Assyrian captivity, this is what was said to us. 2nd Ezra is at the beginning. 2nd Ezra is at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? 2nd Ezra 13. Yep. Exactly where you had it. Actually, go ahead.
2nd Ezra, chapter, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners.
See, these were the 10 tribes that were carried prisoner. He was talking about the northern kingdom, the so-called indigenous and Hispanic. Go ahead.
Out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salomancer, the king of Azariah, led away captive.
He led us away captive. Now watch this. Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. And so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among them.
So they had a big old meeting. So-called Hispanic that have been in jail. What do they call? Juntas. They had a big old
that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. They that might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
See, so we were going to a different land where we were to keep the commandments that we couldn't even keep in our own land. My man can't even roll his window down trying to scoff at us. Hey, get the window fixed first, then you can come talk to us about the Bible. Yeah? You want to come talk to us about the Bible? You what? What? Hey, how about you roll the window down? Roll your window down. I know you can't. That's what makes it funny. I gotta put that one down. Hey, I know somebody got that on video because I'm putting that on video. You want to scoff?
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, sis, shalom. See, that's mighty. We got scoffers and then we got people that know the truth.
Right.
Hey, shalom. See, and we know people that keep the commandment because they're grievous and such. That's cool. Drop that. Huh?
Right.
Go back to what I had you on in Deuteronomy. Go ahead.
Keep going on 6. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding.
This is your what?
Your wisdom and your understanding.
One more time.
Your wisdom and your understanding.
See, it's your wisdom and your understanding. Literally, the Bible's calling this law your wisdom and understanding.
Right.
But tomorrow you're going to go to church and pastor's going to tell you got to keep the commandments. You don't got to keep the laws done away with. Right? But Moses said this is your wisdom and understanding. Now let's see how we would be looked at if we kept these commandments. Go ahead.
In the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
He said, surely this is a wise and understanding people, right? Do they say that about us? No. Well, let's go. I always like to refer to Donald Trump. What did he call Mexicans? Rapists, drug dealers, and murderers, right? But yet, if we study the history of the European conquest, we'll say that, the European conquest, because they don't like to hear their history in other fashions. They raped, robbed, and murdered the Native American. They raped, robbed, and murdered the indigenous Hispanics. They raped, robbed, and murdered the African American, the West Indian, the Haitian. They murdered, raped, robbed, and murdered all these people.
Right.
Hey, but then they got the audacity to say that we're the rapists, the robbers, the murderers. When every time I look on the street corner, it's 99% of the time black or Hispanics hustling.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's black or Hispanics trying to make ends meet. It's those people. Give me Isaiah 42. Yeah, 42 and 23. What you got? Come on, go ahead.
Joshua 22, verse 5.
Good.
But take diligent heed to do the commandments.
See, take diligent. Be diligent. Take diligent heed to do the commandments. Be sure to do it as often as possible. In a what's it called? In a repetitive motion. Till it becomes muscle memory. Till you feel funny without the fringes. Till the sight of pork disgusts you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Till you can finally do what needs to be done and keep these commandments, so we can be looked upon as a wise nation. That's okay. Go ahead. Right?
And the law, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, charged you.
See, and we got to keep the commandments, which Moses, the servant of the Most High, our leader at the time, and was given to us by the Most High God, YHWH.
Give me 1 Kings 2:3.
You got that 42 and verse 22, I think? Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled,
See, we're a people robbed and spoiled. When we talk about the victimization of people, the first three people, and should only really be the only people that come up, are black, Hispanic, and Native American, so-called.
That's right.
Because we've been robbed of our language, we've been robbed of our name, we've been robbed of our land. We've been robbed of everything that makes us. Why do so-called black people walk around with English, Spanish, and French last names? Why do so-called Native Americans walk around with English last names? Why do Hispanics walk around with Spanish last names? Why do we speak somebody else's language and practice somebody else's religion?
Right.
We never do what belongs to us, which is keeping the commandments of God, which were given to us by the dispensation of angels. You know what I'm saying? It was given to us as our Holy Father gave it through Moses, and he tried to give it to us himself with us with the 10 Commandments on.
God.
But we want to disobey that. We'd rather follow the ways of the heathen, right? We like that white woman, right? We like to live that lavish lifestyle over there in the north end. Just so our brothers can walk around homeless and lost. Just so you can walk around homeless and lost. Because eventually, that woman gonna get tired of you.
That's right.
And you're going to be right back here with the rest of us up and down Waterman and Baseline. Instead of presenting your loyalty unto the Most High and keeping His commandments. What you keep going?
They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
All of us are either in holes or in prison houses. We're either in debt or we're locked up. And some people are going to argue and say, well, that's financial responsibility. Actually, it's the curses of the Most High God. Because why is it, you can say that all you want, but why is it we fit that to a T? We fit these curses, all these prophecies to a T. Is that all that? Keep on.
They are for a prey and none deliverance.
See, we're for a prey. We're the one. Hey, if we ever watch Medicine Society, this applies to Hispanics too. The hunt is on, and you're the prey. We're the ones being hunted by the police. You think you're doing the hunting when you go look for your ops, when the police is just waiting for you to catch your dumbass slipping. The police is the real ops. They're the ones that murder you on the street. They're the ones that scream gun when you got a cell phone in your hand and let off 16 shots.
That's right.
That's not happening to nobody else. I seen some jackass at work trying to tell me that, look, white people get killed by the police when? I need some FBI facts, because I went to the FBI website. And guess what I saw in this order? Native American, black, and Hispanic. You know why we don't know about the Native American murders? Because nobody reports them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, to them, that's a different land. They're in the reservations. Right. The police murder them just as much as you black and Hispanics out here on the other side of Highland. Right. Do not be deceived, brothers. We're the ones that are being hunted. Is that on that? Keep on.
For a spoil and none said, restored.
Hey, see, nobody delivers and nobody restores. Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, we've been under this guise of being black, Hispanic, or Native American for so long that we don't even know that black is a color in the crayon box. Right. Hispanic means property of Spain, and we just read in the Bible that no man ever dwelt here. So how can you be native here? You're indigenous to the allotment of Gad and Reuben. And the problem is that we don't even understand that. Give me what you got? Hold that, give me Isaiah 1 and 8. Read that.
1 Kings chapter 2, verse 3. Good. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
See, keep the charge. Keep the orders the Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth, gave you. Keep these orders, go ahead.
To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments.
See, to walk in his ways. Is that on that? Keep on.
And his judgment and his testimony as it is written.
See, as it is written, we're to keep the laws of God, we're to keep his testimony, and we're to go, and we're to be out here, you know what I'm saying, and showing the world who we are. Give me, you're probably still 31. See, we gotta understand something. We're commanded to keep these laws. When you break, you're literally sinning. That is give me 1 John 3 and 4, right? Read that and then give me 1 John 3 and 4. Go Isaiah 1 and 3.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
The crazy part is two dumb animals know where they go home and they know who they belong to.
Right.
So let's see how you Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are like it too. Go ahead.
But Israel does not know. My people does not consider.
We don't even know, nor do we consider. We're happy being called Hispanic, Latino. I know some of y'all ain't happy about Latinx. Don't feel like you are. But all these names that keep changing, they don't tell you who you really are.
Right.
They really do not give you that type of info. They don't give you that power. You remember the old saying on, was it Channel 7? I know all of us are old enough to remember that. Y'all remember on, I think it was Channel 7 or 2, knowledge is power? You know, the more you learn, hey, the more you learn, right? And the Bible tells you the same thing, but what y'all want to do, y'all don't want to listen to that. Y'all would much rather listen to the pastor Sunday morning and have him tell you that you're Black, a color in the crayon box. Shalom, God. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions, you know what I'm saying, let me know. I'll do my best to answer, brother. You know what I'm saying? Black is a color in the crayon box. African American kind of divides you into two continents. And then like we always say, let's take out America, right? Let's go to Africa. There's 52 countries, correct? 200 or 300 tribes, over 200 languages. You know what I'm saying? And which one do you belong to, so-called Black man? Who do you call home? Have you considered that? Because according to the Bible, it said that the children of Israel don't consider. Hispanic man, you ever ask yourself why we speak Spanish? Why we have a Spanish last name? But who in your family is from Spain? Who in your family has ever even been to Spain or related to anybody in Spain? You know, you ain't got no fucking family members in Spain. Shut the fuck up. Ain't none of y'all got. Hey, you can say that, but you look like a whole chunkla, homie. You look like a whole piece. You look like me and you came over to this country yesterday. You ain't got no fucking. You can get the fuck out of here. Hey, you know what it reminds me of? When Native Americans and Blacks say, "Oh, I got white in my family." Do you now? Do you really? Come on, bro. You look like my cousin. My cousin ain't got a lick of, man. And then they don't consider. They just take it verbatim. Oh, I gotta be a Spaniard. And if you are a Spaniard, goddamn you. May the Most High destroy. May the Most High destroy you, Spain, England, France, Poland, Luxembourg. Oh, you thought a high school dropout didn't know about Czechoslovakia, did you? You didn't know about the former Soviet Union. I pray the Most High God destroys every nation in Europe. You know why? Give me Deuteronomy 28. Give me Deuteronomy 28. Drop that. Give me Isaiah 50 and 33. Because you wanna hold on to Spain. Well, let's see how Spain has treated you. You got Deuteronomy 28? Start at verse 15. First read verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
And what have we been talking about? Commandments.
See how he was just talking?
If you don't observe to doing all these commandments, go ahead.
And his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
All these curses.
That's right.
Hey, you wonder why you struggle to make rent, right? You wonder why you're always going to jail even for the littlest dumbest shit. The littlest dumbest things you go to jail for, right? Then you go hungry. You got to borrow money to get food. Give me that in the curses where it says, you shall not be the lender. Give me that in Isaiah 50 and 30. Give me Jeremiah 50 and 33, right?
Oh, you said 33.
Yeah, 33, chapter 50, verse 33. Because we got to understand hey, I like that, bro. I like you. Hey, keep reaching out, bro. Keep reaching out, you know what I'm saying? We got to understand how we're being treated. The lifestyle that we've led. Go ahead. Jeremiah, Salaki, that was on me. Jeremiah 50.
See how we were just talking this
You know what I mean?
about that?
And we got to understand the oppression we're in. And we got to understand that Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans were the same group of people. How is it that we got a group of Blacks and Hispanics talking about the exact same oppression?
Right.
We can all relate to the way we've been treated. Go ahead.
Right. Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts.
Now the Most High God, YHWH, is speaking. He's talking to you Blacks and Hispanics. Go ahead.
The children of Israel,
the so-called Native American and indigenous Hispanic. Go ahead.
and the children of Judah,
the so-called Negro, West Indian, and Haitian, go ahead,
were oppressed together.
were what?
Was oppressed together.
Now, you got to understand something. Let's understand world history and biblical history in context. There has never on planet Earth been a phenomenon, an anomaly, a an astonishment like the Hebrew Israelites. Why? Because two separate ethnic groups talking about the exact same oppression.
Right.
Right? And now let's go into biblical context. The Babylonian Empire never held the northern kingdom in captivity. The Assyrians had us in captivity, while the southern kingdom was put into captivity by Babylon in the same time frame. So how could Babylon oppress them together? No, it's talking about somewhere else, right? Go, what you got? Is that on there? Oh, keep going.
And all that took them captive held them fast and refused to let them go.
Let's analyze this last sentence, right? It says they held them fast and refused to let them go. Understand this. If they could scream go back to Africa. They could scream go back to Mexico. But realistically, what's going to happen if we do that? Let's just say all the blacks and Hispanics have a big old meeting. It's over for this place, right? We're going to have a big old meeting, and all the blacks and Hispanics say, let's go to Mexico so we ain't got to travel that far. Watch Mexico flourish. And then watch this place, which ain't going to have no construction workers, except a couple white ones. And ain't none of them picking no grapes, I guarantee that. Who's going to pick your cotton? Who's going to make your food and make it and babysit your kids? Who's going to open up them good restaurants y'all like to go to? Y'all gonna have to travel to guess where? To Mexico just to get anything. Why? Because we, the black, Hispanic, and Native American, the children of Israel, make this place go round.
Right.
We're the reason it goes and goes and goes.
Right. That's right.
The reason why I shine consistently, I put words together scientifically and create life and energy when I write this biochemistry. Mind so bright that I can get the blind sight when I speak. Let me give you insight up on my life up in these streets. We say we black, we don't know our right identity, cause we was taught and brainwashed by white supremacy, killing each other, but we scared to fight our enemies. We need to remember we brothers and unite to get us free, cause they thrive on our genocide of misery. They tried to make our bloodline a mystery and hide our history, but eventually come to light to any eye witnessing, nigga. Revolution.